For years, Nashville's housing market has been playing one song, and it was a fast one, a real seller's paradise. But it sounds like the music is changing. A whole new tempo is taking over, and we're going to break down what this shift really means for you, whether you're buying or selling. So let's get right to it. The big question on everyone's mind is this: is Nashville's famously red-hot housing market finally actually cooling down? Well, to get to the truth, you have to look past the headlines and dive straight into the numbers. And you know what? The latest data shows a pretty major shift. We're moving away from that extreme seller's market we've all gotten used to and into something else entirely. So what exactly is going on? Let's figure it out. Okay, the key to understanding this whole thing is this term, a balanced market. Think of it like a seesaw that's perfectly level. Supply and demand are pretty much equal. Neither buyers nor sellers have the upper hand. And that, my friends, changes the entire game. All right, let's kick things off with the supply story. This is all about how many houses are actually up for grabs and, maybe more importantly, how quickly or slowly they're selling. The first number you absolutely need to know is 3.4 months. That's Nashville's current housing supply. So what that means is, if no new homes were listed starting today, it would take about 3.5 months to sell everything that's currently on the market. Now here's where it gets interesting. When you put that number in context, you see that Nashville's 3.4 months of supply is actually higher than both the state and the national averages. That points directly to more inventory and a lot more choice for buyers right here in Music City. And when you have more supply, things almost always slow down. Right now, the median time a house sits on the market in Nashville is 84 days. Wow, that is a far cry from a couple of years ago when listings would basically vanish over a single weekend. This really puts it in perspective. At 84 days, a typical Nashville home is on the market for a full week longer than the national average. For buyers, this is a huge deal. It gives you more time to think, to compare, and to make a decision without all that frantic pressure. You get some breathing room. So you've got more homes on the market and sales are taking longer. What do you think that does to prices? Well, this is where the story gets really dramatic. First, let's be clear about something. The median list price in Nashville is still pretty high, sitting just under $595,000. This is absolutely still a premium, valuable market. And just to really drive that point home, that price tag is almost 37% higher than the median for the entire state. So yes, Nashville is a top-tier market, but the next slide reveals a pretty surprising trend hiding just beneath the surface. Okay, here it is. This is the clearest signal yet that the market is changing. A staggering 39.1% of active listings in Nashville have had a price cut. We're talking nearly 4 out of every 10 homes. Just compare that to the tiny 2.2% with a price increase. This is a massive shift. This just says it all, doesn't it? An 18-to-1 ratio. For every one seller who feels confident enough to raise their price, there are 18 others who are lowering theirs. It's a huge sign that the old strategy of just pricing high and waiting for a bidding war, that's not working anymore. So this isn't just some minor tweak. What we're witnessing here is sellers having to get aggressive, having to reposition themselves to compete for buyers who are way more selective and a whole lot less frenzied than they were even just a year ago. So, we've dug into the data on supply, pace, and pricing. Now for the most important part. What does all of this mean for you? Let's break down how to play your cards in this new, more balanced market. This shift creates completely different strategies depending on which side of the table you're on. The playbook has changed for both sellers and buyers. All right, for sellers, the takeaway is simple. Price your home realistically from day one. With nearly 40% of your competition cutting prices, if you start too high, you're just going to get left behind. Now, for buyers, the message is just as clear. You have negotiating power again. Specifically, look for homes that have been on the market for more than that 84-day median. Those sellers are likely the most motivated to make a deal. So, what's next? The tempo in Nashville has definitely changed, but what song will the market be playing in the months to come? If you want to know where things are headed, you got to keep your eyes on these 3 key numbers. First, is that 3.4-month supply going to go up or down? Second, is that huge 39.1% rate of price cuts going to level off or maybe even speed up? And finally, what's going to happen with that 84-day selling time? These numbers will write the next chapter of Nashville's housing story. And that all leads us to our final question. As Nashville's market settles into this new, more balanced rhythm, who's going to come out on top? Will it be the savvy buyers who jump on this moment of opportunity? Or will it be the smart, adaptable sellers who price their homes to win in this new, more competitive field? I guess the next year will tell the tale.